Forgive them, brother, but never forget. Don't ever open the door again for them, because they only clap for you once you're on the big stage. They only clap for you once you started to see some success in your life. A year ago, I was completely broke. I had no money, no prospects, and I've never looked worse in my entire life. And my parents never really cared about me. They've always kept their distance from me. No matter what I've done, I've always tried to seek validation from them by getting the best grades. I got my degree. I got all these different achievements, things that I thought would make them proud. Getting certain jobs, for example, working in the hotels, and they never really cared. They never showed their support. It was like I was invisible to them, despite standing right in front of them, trying to show to them how much of a good son I could be for them. Then a few months had passed and I applied for a few different jobs, because the jobs that I was in, they don't pay you well and they treat you horribly. And a job came through, a job that was highly respected. And I got into that job and I told my parents, I told my friends, I announced it on social media. People started to show me more respect. My friends acted like they always believed in me. My family members acted like they always believed in me. Past relationships came out of the woodworks talking about how much they knew me. But there was a problem. I wasn't proud about my achievements. I was angry. I was disappointed. Why did it take success for them to see me? Yes, I've achieved something. But why has it taken this for them to come and see me as the most valuable person that I see myself as? I tried to justify it in my head. I tried to introspect. I tried to say, well, if I didn't have any value, why should anybody see value in me? That's the lie. I wasn't going to gaslight myself into telling myself that I had to have value in order for people to see value in me. You were always valuable, bro, but you just couldn't see it. One of the biggest things and one of the biggest takeaways from this is once you start to see some success, people will start to look at you and respond to you differently. They'll begin to try and come into your life and claim the fruits of your labor, the fruits that you have sown with the seeds of stress, depression, not seeing results, not having enough money. All that effort that you sowed into the ground to see the results that you have reaped now with your nicer body, with your nicer car, with your decent amount of money, your improved looks, your improved happiness. People will come and try to feed on that because they don't have it themselves. And when that happens, try not to build resentment, because I built resentment from that, because I looked at myself as somebody that always wanted to support the people around me. But when it came to me and wanting to be supported, that never came. That never was reciprocated. One of the biggest things that I've had to realize as I've been growing up, and you need to realize this as well, bro, is that you're a king. There's so much more you can do and so much more you can achieve in your life, but you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to step back and see yourself as a person that doesn't have all these flaws and negative traits, but as somebody that can overcome themselves and choose to be whatever they want to be in their lives. The problem with this is right now you probably don't have the support. Right now you probably don't have the connections. Right now you probably don't have the relationships. You're trying to grow your business. You're trying to grow entrepreneurially. You're trying to grow your fitness, your mental health, your confidence, your social skills, all things that are vitally important as a man. But you're doing it by yourself. You're doing it without the support. And one of the things I have to say to you is well done. Keep on doing it. Whenever I was choosing to improve parts of myself, I've gone months on months of being alone, doing it alone and growing alone. And I like to say this in the videos because it's something that's helped me quite a bit, is that you need to protect your energy, protect your mental health. If people around you are narcissistic or sociopathic, or they like to be toxic in your life, they're taking your energy away from you. They're polluting your mind space with things of them that they haven't subconsciously dealt with. And when you're coming to try and improve yourself, it's a whole lot more difficult because now you've got bits of their psyche ingrained in your psyche. Isolation is not a punishment, it's a tool. Use it against the people that are toxic and manipulatory. Set those physical and emotional boundaries. Those are key to becoming the best version of yourself. Glow up in silence. Choose to not address your achievements. Yes, once you've made it to a decent pedestal of success, yes, do that, whatever. But don't say things too early. Learn to shut your mouth. That's one thing my grandma's always said to me is, Do things in silence until you're ready to truly bring it out and you have the strength and the resilience to not be pushed off your number one spot on that pedestal. Glow in silence. Grow in silence. How do you do that? Choosing to not announce things on social media. Choosing to make it a point of contention to set goals and improve without having to seek the validation of others. Something that's crucially important for me and which I figured out for myself is you've got to protect your peace from that fake love. Whenever I've gained something in my life, I've always said to me, I'm not afraid to throw it away. I'm not afraid to take a step back and choose to do something else with my life. Because I will never do something for someone else's happiness. I will never achieve something just for somebody to say, oh, well, my son did that, or my friend did that. No, I did that by myself. And if you want to take kudos of what I've earned and what hardship and blood and sweat and tears I put into it, I will show you how fast I can destroy it. I build up things for myself, and you should build up things for yourself only, and not for the benefit or justification of somebody else. When you seek that external validation from your achievements from somebody else, that's when you become so anxiously deprived of your life. You decide to do things for other people. Your ADHD begins to act up because you're not doing things for yourself, you're doing it for them. You're not achieving enough money at work. Oh, what are my family members going to think? Oh, well, my body doesn't look the best. Oh, I need to start starving myself. You develop eating disorders. Oh, well, I'm not speaking to enough women. What are my friends going to think? You build up confidence issues. You start to think about what you think women might like, instead of actually improving yourself and going to speak to them. These are the things that happen when you start to seek validation outside of yourself. And it's equally important as well to understand why people only return once you elevate yourself. And especially with certain women or past relationships that you might have had. And one of the biggest quotes, and I love this quote so much, and it goes, the biggest failure in men is that they eat with women they didn't starve with. What women have you invited into your life that didn't starve with you, that you are now allowing to eat at your table? You grew through adversity, depression, lack of support, and yet you want to bring people into your life simply because they're attractive, simply because you like the way they look. Remove that lustful thinking from your mind, bro. Whenever I've decided to bring people into my life that don't truly understand or resonate or mesh with me or provide me with the emotional support that I require to thrive and to become the best version of who I am, they've always brought me down. Why? Because they don't understand who I am. They don't understand where I've come from. They don't understand the mental hardship that I've been put through. When you're around people that don't understand that mental hardship, that mental turmoil, that mental devastation, on days and nights where you've maybe sat in your room, completely depressed, wondering about how you get from A to B, how you could see yourself being financially independent, having that autonomy, having a group of friends, a community of people that truly understand and respect you, not knowing how you would get there, knowing that you as a man, and I know this is true because you see yourself having more in life, but not knowing how to get there, knowing what you want, knowing you have a purpose and not knowing what that purpose is. That's the main reason why so many of us are depressed. And then once you start to see some success, they say that they knew you. They say that they were with you that whole time, when you know for a fact you were alone. You should be focusing on your self-worth. For me, my most important thing is my self-worth and my self-respect. If somebody doesn't truly respect or understand me, I will walk away. And I'm not trying to say to you, for example, if your parents are involved and they don't respect you, that you should be a horrible person to them. I know that you're trying to be a morally better person. You maybe haven't been the best person in the past, but choosing to be the person that walks away from people that don't respect you to try and preserve your energy is the best thing you can do for your family members and for yourself. Because you can only help others once you've helped yourself. You can only be an asset to somebody, an asset to a team, if you learn to protect your energy. A lot of parents don't even realize that they're hurting their own children. A lot of friends don't realize that they're hurting their own friends. A lot of relationships, girlfriends don't even realize they're hurting their own partners because they're other people. But one thing that you can rely on is yourself. You can rely on yourself to be kind to yourself, respectful to yourself, understanding to yourself. Remember the times when you were completely alone, when you were completely emotionally unstable, and you had to ground yourself. Nobody else could ground you but you. Seek your results. Go on your holidays. Look after yourself. Set your goals. Achieve something of worthwhile value. And do it alone. There is no reason why you need to discuss it with other people or try and show it to them, like cutting your flowers just to show people that they've grown. You don't need to do that. You need to focus on yourself, bro. Look after yourself, grow yourself. What can you do? What are the few things that you could do? Focus on your hygiene, your looks, go to the gym, focus on eating correctly, taking it a day at a time, because I know it's hard to do all these things at once, especially when you're doing it alone, especially when you don't have the support of the people behind you. But you can do it. But you've got to learn to stop seeking that validation. Build confidence in yourself. That's one of the massive ways to build confidence, is simply choosing to do things alone, choosing to go outside of your comfort zone and say that I'm going to improve myself. I'm no longer going to look back on what my life was, but look at what I can become. You were always enough. You just couldn't see it. You were always enough, but they just couldn't see it. But you've now got to take a step back from your own ignorance and choose to become better. And once you begin to achieve all that success in your life, where you have the money, you have the time, you have the resources to do whatever you want, to travel where you want, to buy what you want, to look how you want, to see what you want, you'll realize that you don't need to seek the validation from other people. Offer yourself that free form of validation, because you don't need to get it from anybody else. And remember, never forget who you are.